Hi guys, this is Taylor and I'm here today with my October wrap-up. October was my month for spooky reads, and the good news is that I finished everything that I really wanted to get to. So the bad news is that I feel like there might be some unpopular opinions in this video. Especially concerning the first two books. But we're gonna soldier on, so let's get into it. The first book I read in October was perennial booktube favorite, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, and I was a little underwhelmed by it. This is about two sisters and their uncle who are shunned from the town they live in, and you slowly uncover why. I didn't find this particularly compelling or suspenseful, which I feel like was this book's main objective. I did find parts of it creepy, but not like lastingly haunting. I feel like Shirley Jackson has received so many accolades for being kind of like the master of atmosphere and witchiness. Like the back of this book literally says that it's a work of black magic. But yeah, I didn't like fall under a spell. It just wasn't that for me. It was not a bad book, but personally I wouldn't really recommend it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. Next I picked up Hollow City, the second book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. I wish this had a shorter title. Yeah, this series is not for me. I'm not really going to give a synopsis because this book is so widely read and talked about, but please rest assured if you read the first book and you really liked it, you will absolutely love this. My problem is that I didn't love the first one, so continuing on with the series was a little bit grating. Just personally, I don't care about these characters and I don't care about this plot. I feel like things happen way too easily and the world building is really haphazard. I actually skimmed parts of it, which is bad. I gave this a 2 out of 5. I will probably not be continuing on with the series. Again though, I just want to say that if you're excited about continuing on with the series, please do. You will like it. I am in the vast minority. So next I picked up The Madness Underneath by Maureen Johnson, the second book in the Shades of London series, and it was really good. This is YA, as you can probably tell, and it follows our main character Rory as she goes to boarding school in London and discovers that she can see ghosts, and then lots of other stuff, as you can probably imagine. This was just everything that I wanted at the moment, and it was just as good as the first one, which I was worried about. If you've read any of Rainbow Rowell's books and appreciated her sense of realism when it comes to emotions and relationships, then I think you'll really like this. This kind of gave me that same feeling, but with ghosts. Also, the issues that I had with certain characters in this book got resolved. Like, I realized that I was supposed to have issues with them, so everything's good. I gave this a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. Sometimes I just need to be reminded that YA has the capability to be everything that I want it to be. Then, in a fantastic turnaround, I picked up the fourth book in the Vampire series, Black Heart. I don't know if it was just that this was the first book in the series that I read as an adult, like 10 years after I originally read the series, but this was a mess. You might remember me saying that book 3 ends in a massive cliffhanger, and that does get resolved, but it gets resolved in the most ridiculous way possible. There are plot points and characters that are created out of nowhere, and just so much of it was so poorly executed. There were some very important, serious parts that I just laughed through, like laughed out loud through. I have to say though, it was still enjoyable, just in a ridiculous way, and I appreciated the wild ride it took me on, so I ended up giving it a 3 stars. Yeah, I still have 2 more books in that series, so help me. And finally for this month, I started to read Witch Child by Celia Reese. This is about a girl in England in the 1600s whose relative is convicted of witchcraft, So she kind of gets like sponsored to voyage to America and make a new start as a Puritan. I actually ended up throwing in the towel on this. I just couldn't escape the feeling that I would have enjoyed it way more as a kid. It's not that it's at all bad, it's just that the prose and the plot were really simple and I wasn't really enjoying it, so I figured, why waste time on it? Someone else will enjoy it. So that was my spooky October. And let me just let you know quickly what's going on in November. I do lovingly refer to November as my punishment month, even though it's not really a punishment. Historically, every November I pick up a really big, intimidating book that I wouldn't have picked up otherwise, and I just read that. That's my goal for the month, is just to finish that one big book. And this November I have chosen The History of Jazz by Ted Goya, the definitive nonfiction on the history of jazz. I'm honestly really excited. I've had this book for the longest time and I've always been really scared of it, so now I get to overcome that and hopefully really enjoy it. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day and I will see you guys in November. Bye!